This is Viktor Larkhill. Today we're telling you this beautiful rescue story from the World Animal Awareness channel. Our collaboration with the channel is helping us reach more and more people, get a wider audience, as well as fundraise in ways we couldn't do it before. Please watch this video. It's a full rescue story, and please don't forget to donate at the end. Everything, all the proceeds from this fundraiser are coming to us. This is really helpful. Please donate. Thank you very much. And watch the video to the end. It helps.
It's an animal world out there. Watch the World Animal Awareness Society channel and feel right at home. Come, sit, subscribe, and stay a while.
It's 5:10 in the morning and Ivan just pulled a Carla.
Iván acaba de hacer una Carla.
Sí.
Ha hecho un Carla.
Meaning he overslept.
Iván.
Who's that? Hi, Gyro.
It's 5:20. He just pulled a Carla.
Un Carla, en toda regla.
He's overslept. We've been waiting outside for 3/4 of an hour. Unbelievable.
Hey!
I've always wanted to do that.
Siempre lo quería hacer.
And today I had the chance to do it to 2 people at once.
I am so tired. No, venga,
Café.
we're gonna have a coffee and then I'm gonna drive. This one hasn't trust in the car. So, I realized that you don't know this guy. His name is Darío. He's from Argentina. He joined us 3 months ago. He's doing great. But today is his test, the ultimate test. He's gonna drive the Let's Alone car. Let's see how he does. No. He braked with his left foot, used the wrong foot.
He thought it was the clutch.
But it was unintentional.
He's used to driving a manual car.
We're going to keep watching Frank Cuesta's video. He's going through a tough time with the sanctuary, but it looks like things will work out. Okay, so we're gonna go in there. Nikki is this mastiff mix that has a really bad eye problem. We're gonna see that. In that house there are 10 dogs. This is a rescuer that has lost her way a little bit. People gave her dogs and she couldn't find homes for them. So we're gonna try to help her. Hola.
¿Hoy?
Hola.
¿Se ha visto? Ah, no. Hola. ¿Qué tal? Hola.
It was the sprinkler. Come this way. It's her. If the ground is slippery, she prefers to drag herself. She also has a hip problem. One day, when she was still a puppy, I came home from the city and found her unable to stand. I took her to the vet, and based on the x-rays, they said it looked like she had fractured the head of her femur, and that's how it stayed. Is that what it is, or not? She was walking fine at 3 months old. And then all of a sudden, this happened. I'm not sure how it happened.
It's okay. We'll check what's going on and treat her. I do notice she's a bit overweight.
Well, she eats half of what the others eat. I try everything I can to keep her from gaining weight.
Your dogs are doing great. I'm really sorry because during our call, I got the impression they weren't being well cared for.
I can assure you they live better than I do. She's been raised with me and hardly lets anyone else touch her. It's not just an issue with her eyesight. I think she might have some kind of mental issue because she didn't develop properly. You know what I mean? She's got a very different personality compared to other dogs.
How old is this dog?
She'll be 2 years old in September.
She's 2 years old. Monse, for heaven's sake. If you told me she was 10 years old, I'd say, she's been with you all her life. Keep her. But she's only 2, Monse. The problem isn't with the dog.
But I can't let her go. She's the one I love and care for the most.
I understand. But the problem isn't with the dog. The problem here is mental. I'm sorry, but think it over. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. You're going to make me cry. I don't want to cry because I've been up all night too nervous about your arrival. I take really good care of them. I buy them liver, I cook chicken livers and mix them with their kibble so they're not just eating kibble. Yes, they're a little chubby, I admit it. But they live well. They're not cold. They don't sleep outside like my neighbour's dogs. In the summer, they sleep wherever they want because I leave the doors open, and they come and go as they please. In winter, they sleep inside, by the fire, on their beds, on the couch, wherever they like, sometimes even on the bed. I always make sure they're comfortable. I believe that if you have an animal, you need to take care of it. They can't just be guard dogs, and they are guard dogs, by the way. I don't have any alarm system. All the houses in the area have been broken into except mine. You can pet her, but be careful because she's fast and can bite. Other than that, she's affectionate but a bit quirky.
Does she do that to you too?
Yes, she does. That's why I told you she's special. I don't think it's just an issue with her eyesight and hip. I think she has some other problem too. I'm not sure what. I don't know if dogs can have autism or something similar, but she's quite unique. I was petting her and suddenly, without warning, she tried to bite me. I'm quick, but one day she might succeed.
Well, it's cozy in here. The photos you sent didn't do it justice.
That's because Nikki rarely ever wants to leave the house. Today she came out on her own, but most days I have to try to coax her out with the food bowl and she won't budge. She's very stubborn. She's the queen of this room.
It's not easy.
That's why I use the harness. Yesterday I tried to put on a collar, the only one that fits her. And aside from almost getting bitten, you have to wait for her to decide to get up, and then you quickly attach the leash. She takes the muzzle off by herself.
I made a mistake. I was too harsh on you, and I'm truly sorry.
Listen, we all make mistakes. I just wanted you to understand me.
You didn't explain yourself well. I thought it was a different situation. I thought you were one of those people who had lost control and had too many animals. It's a common thing, I've seen a lot.
You mean Noah syndrome, right? Animal hoarding.
Yes, exactly.
My instinct would be to take them all in, but I know I can't.
I have 10 dogs, like you, so I know what it's like to have 10 dogs. A person can have 10 dogs without having a pathological condition or a psychological problem. But I made the mistake of judging you, and I shouldn't have done that. Your dogs are extremely well cared for.
I always try to make sure they're okay. They're my babies, I always say that. They love me a lot, and I love them just as much.
But the advice I gave you, what I asked you to do, speak to a psychologist. That's really important, because you need the strength to carry on with what you've got.
I know my problem isn't hoarding animals or saying goodbye to them. My sister and my friends have been telling me for a long time that I need to let go. But that's the hardest part for me. I worry a lot. They get sick, and when they die, because they will die sooner or later, I struggle to accept that death is part of life. My husband is at his wit's end. He says, it's not that you're hoarding animals, it's that you suffer too much for them. If I have to get up 1,000 times a night to give a dog water because it can't get up, I'll get up 1,000 times. I don't mind how many times it takes. And if I have to spend sleepless nights like when they were puppies, I'll do it. I don't care as long as I can handle it. My problem is that sometimes I put everyone else before myself. I think that's my big issue.
Well, will you work on that? I'll put you in touch with someone. Please work with them.
Yes, because I know it's going to be very hard when they start to pass away.
What's the winter weather like here?
It's brutal. So cold, it's terrible. It doesn't snow here, but I wake up in the mornings to find the water bowls frozen.
Are you protected from the cold inside?
No, even with the fireplace and the butane heater, it's only 14 degrees inside.
There's not much insulation here, I see. Does this door close properly?
No. I tried to fix it as best I could, but it doesn't close well.
Dario, are you a handyman? Are you good at fixing things?
Yes.
Well, maybe when we come back to bring Nikki, you and Martin can stay here for a few days and do some repairs, right?
Of course, whatever's needed.
Really? But you're not obliged to. We do what we can. But with the physical limitations my husband and I have, I've learned to do things I didn't know I could do. You'll be coming back very soon, okay, darling? She's going to miss me a lot, I can tell you that, with how quirky she is. And I'll miss her too.
Vale.
You'll know at all times where she is and how she's doing.
I trust you. I know you'll take good care of her. I don't trust myself as much to handle all this.
You'll see, everything will be fine. It won't be long, and when she comes back, she'll be slimmer. We'll check what's wrong with her hip joint and do everything we can.
Thank you so much for everything. It's priceless.
We'll help you with whatever we can.
They're going to give us a hand with the house.
When we come back, we'll ask the maintenance team, 2 or 3 people, to stay here for a week fixing things.
We'll make sure they're comfortable here.
Wow, this family is so great. Yesterday when I spoke to her on the phone, I was a bit harsh because honestly I thought that this would be different. I mean, I thought the pictures she sent me, the house looked really messy,
Nikki,
and there were too many dogs, and the way she spoke, I thought that maybe, I don't know, there was a little bit of a hoarder situation, but it's not like that. These dogs are so well kept, and yeah, true, they have financial problems, but these people didn't choose to have these dogs. They had 3 dogs, but then they dumped these puppies on them, and they couldn't say no. They didn't. They kept them because over here there are no good families. There are very few good people here. So they were really afraid that these dogs will be put to work, abandoned in some fields or something, and they ended up keeping them all. And now they are over their heads. They really are struggling. But I tell you, these people are so great. So great. I'm so glad that we did this. So we're taking Nikki back to Valencia. We're gonna cross the country again, and we'll be taking her to the ophthalmologist on Monday, and she will also need to have a full checkup to look on those hips, and maybe a thyroid exam. I tell you, Nikki is a handful, but she's really great. It's a really, you know, what is the right expression? Endearing dog. She's endearing. She looks at you and she kind of snaps, but she doesn't hurt you. It's like her way to interact, and she's endearing. Is an endearing lady with problems. So we're gonna help. We're definitely gonna help. Hay una tormenta aquí increíble. So you've seen it. I'm now heading to the dentist. I think tomorrow maybe is not a good idea for me to come out on camera, but anyway, it's not gonna be worse than this. Please join us, donate. We need you. You've just seen what we've done for Nikki. You will see more of her next week. She's now at the hospital. We're looking at many things, and we need your help. Just please join us. We need you to come on board as a recurrent donor. Without you, we are not gonna survive. Now I'm heading to hospital. To dentist. I'm heading to the dentist to fix this. My God.
She has the bone structure of a 10-year-old.
And she's only 2.
All that black area is fat.
Hi, it's about Nikki. We drove across the country to pick her up, to rescue her. We actually thought that her issue was just an issue with her eyes, but it turned out to be much worse. When she arrived to the Grey House, she started having shakes. She wasn't feeling well. She wasn't standing up. We drove her to the hospital and we did all the necessary tests. There is a big problem with her glucose levels. She has hypoglycemia and it goes up and down. So we have really investigated this, and the results, you need to watch this. Please, this is Nikki.
She weighs 53 kilos and 250 grams. Let's see if she can see or not.
It seems like she can only partially see.
Complete blood work, pre-surgery, because she'll be seen by the ophthalmologist in Valencia. Let's see if we can sedate her a bit to take some hip x-rays.
How old is she?
2 years.
She's young. Look how she supports herself. She's got hip dysplasia there.
We're going to sedate her a little to take the hip x-rays.
To make her more comfortable.
Plus, those positions are painful.
I'm going to put in a line because when we do the hips, it'll bother her and she'll need propofol. She has difficulty standing up, but she's not really limping as such.
Well, a little bit, yes.
We were discussing her age because, radiographically, she doesn't look like a dog that's almost 2 years old. She has a very advanced process of osteoarthritis in her spine called discospondylosis. On the other hand, we did the x-rays of her hips, and they're in pretty bad shape, especially the right one. She has a fairly pronounced hip dysplasia, with half of the femoral head already out, and the joint area has lost its healthy joint shape.
Let's check her glucose because it's showing a bit low in the blood tests.
Ahí en las analíticas un poquito bajo de rango. Ahí.
It's low,
Está bajo.
meaning her glucose is a little down, and we need to give her intravenous glucose. That's why she seemed weaker and more tired during the consultation.
The following day, we tested Nikki's glucose levels and noticed that the results fluctuated significantly, ranging between 46 and 90. We were very concerned about this, as it was unusual for her levels to be so unstable. We decided to urgently take her back to Vet Clinic's hospital to find out why this was happening.
Bueno, nos vamos de urgencia.
We're rushing out with our friend Nikki because her glucose is very low.
Porque el azúcar lo tiene muy bajo, la glucosa,
and we need to do more tests. So we're heading to Benissa to see what they say. The problem is that her glucose isn't rising.
The first thing we're going to do is check her glucose levels. If it's low, we'll need to supplement her with intravenous glucose, and then we'll do an abdominal ultrasound to see if there's something that could explain the hypoglycemia.
She hasn't eaten anything.
Since when?
She ate a little yesterday.
El primer día.
Has she had any vomiting or diarrhea?
Yes, she's vomited, regurgitated food, and also vomited a hairball.
Let's do the ultrasound and see.
Rosa has given her a sedative shot, and we're going to do the ultrasound now. I'd like to take this opportunity to say, don't let your dogs get overweight, because it makes it very difficult to do tests, ultrasounds, and administer anesthesia. They could die over something minor.
There's a cyst on the cranial pole of the right kidney, 1 centimeter in diameter, which is usually genetic. From the ultrasound, I've seen that her pancreas is slightly inflamed. I don't see any nodules that would suggest a pancreatic tumor, which could explain the low glucose. I didn't see anything, but we can't rule it out entirely. It's rare for a young animal to have a pancreatic tumor, but it could be one of the causes. I noticed some mild degenerative changes in the kidneys, and one of them has a cyst. These are usually genetic problems, and as long as the kidneys function well in the blood tests, they generally don't cause problems, except in the long term, when they may grow and eventually lead to kidney failure. Her spleen is slightly heterogeneous. We've repeated Nikki's blood tests to see if there are any changes. She's not anemic, and we're at the same point with the blood, but some changes have shown up. Part of her white blood cells are slightly elevated, and at first her platelets seemed low, but that's not real because there are aggregates, so it's not a true count. In the other part of the blood test, we see that her glucose is higher than normal, at 166. This is normal, since the blood sample was taken after giving her glucose intravenously. This is a good sign, because she's responded well, but we need to keep monitoring to see how her glucose levels evolve. She still has elevated globulins, which are part of the body's proteins. They can indicate something inflammatory or neoplastic. I'd like to rule out any pancreatic issues. On the other hand, there are endocrine diseases that can cause this kind of situation. We'll do a CT scan to rule out any nodules in the pancreas, and at the same time we'll check if her adrenal glands are small, though they seemed fine on the ultrasound.
She has the bone structure of a 10-year-old.
And she's only 2.
All that black area is fat, and so is this. Nikki's body condition is unbelievable. We have Nikki's CT scan here. We've done a full reconstruction. This is her spine, and these are her ribs. All of her abdominal organs would be here, and as we saw in the x-rays, she has a quite advanced spinal issue. Here we can also see how she has discospondylosis, which is an osteoarthritis process in her spine, in a patient who's currently less than 2 years old, but already has an advanced condition. One of her adrenal glands is smaller than the other. Usually, when there's Addison's disease, which is an endocrine disorder that can explain why Nikki's blood glucose is low and stays low even after eating, both adrenal glands tend to be smaller. In her case, only one is small, and the other is normal. It might not be the cause of her hypoglycemia, but we need to rule it out with a specific blood test.
Besides the blood test, any other tests?
We'd like to do 2 specific blood tests. One is to check her insulin levels. To do this test, we need to catch a moment of real hypoglycemia, and we also want to do an ACTH stimulation test to rule out or confirm Addison's disease. That's the plan for now.
After analyzing everything carefully, the CT scan, the glucose levels, and everything, turns out that what she has is a tumor in her pancreas. It's called insulinoma, and the only way to save her is going to surgery and take it out. She needs to go into surgery as quickly as possible, and we need your help. Please, if you can, that's Nikki. Help us save her. Please donate. She needs you. Thank you. Hi, I need to apologize. Yesterday's video, I failed miserably. I failed at my job. My job is to present each rescue case in a way that is clear for everybody and that encourages you to help the animal. That's what I do. If I don't do my job properly, I fail, and in the end, the animals suffer. Yesterday, I presented a video that didn't clearly explain what was the issue with Nikki. But you see, it's not entirely my fault. When this rescue started, I went to rescue Nikki because she had an issue with her eyes. Immediately, we realized there were so many more things. So we took her to our hospital, and we started the process of test and CT scan and ultrasound and all of that. But yesterday, in that video, I didn't show you that process in a clear, concise, and digestible way. It was a mess. We had vets telling you something about discus spondylosis. Then it changed to talking about possible issues with her, hypoglycemia, Addison. They tried to explain things. It wasn't clear. People didn't understand what was the issue with Nikki. I'm going to tell you that now. Very clearly, very short, very simple. Because at the end of the day, that's the way messages go through. Nikki has a pancreatic tumor called insulinoma. That tumor in the pancreas means that the production of insulin is compromised, is damaged. So she has severe hypoglycemia. It changes all the time during the day. That creates seizures, that creates behavioral issues, and she can barely move. She is exhausted all day.
Nikki. Ay, ay, ay.
His eyes are becoming more and more swollen.
Bien. Ay, 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 ay. ¿Quieres? Vamos.
There are people that suffer from the same issue, and they know how terrible it is. It is not diabetes, it is not Addison's, it's a tumor in her pancreas. And we need to take it out, very simply. Very simply not. It's a very complex surgery. It has taken us nearly 2 weeks to completely and fully identify the issue. We had to perform many tests. Many people had to just look at it and agree on something, and it wasn't easy. This is why yesterday's video is such a mess, because I just drove you through the chaos of multiple opinions and diverging views and evolving views. Anyway, finally, we know what it is. It's an insulinoma, and we need to go into surgery. And we need to do it as soon as possible, because the longer it takes, then the worse the chances of recovery they are. Insulinomas are tricky. You operate them, and then 1 year later they're back, and then you have to operate again. It has happened to us before. One of my own dogs, Spotty, suffered from this, so I know how terrible the condition is.
Que te coge, no le muerdas. Oh, que te come.
But I also know that if we operate her now, we're going to buy time. And that time is going to be beautiful and gorgeous for her.
You're going to make me cry. I don't want to cry because I've been up all night, too nervous about your arrival.
Your dogs are extremely well cared for.
I always try to make sure they're okay. They're my babies, I always say that. They love me a lot, and I love them just as much. I know my problem isn't hoarding animals or saying goodbye to them. My sister and my friends have been telling me for a long time that I need to let go. But that's the hardest part for me. I worry a lot. They get sick, and when they die, because they will die sooner or later,
we have already put her on a diet. She is very comfortable where she is. And I tell you, she has the potential to be happy. And that's what we do. Right now we're buying time for Nikki. Was that clear enough? I think maybe I managed. And once again, I am sorry for yesterday's video. What a mess. What a mess. But entirely my responsibility, entirely my fault. I apologize for that. So that's Nikki's plea, and that's Nikki's story. She needs your help. She needs to go into surgery to be operated from a pancreatic tumor called insulinoma. It's not an easy surgery, but hey, nothing's easy. Please donate. Help us save her. Thank you. The algorithm is that mysterious formula that decides what it is that you're going to watch today on YouTube. Unfortunately, animal rescue channels, such as ours, are not favored by the algorithm. Our content is consistently pushed down, so you don't get to see the content you want to see. And this is why we're here to introduce major changes. Welcome to our revamped Patreon community. You're going to have direct access. All videos will be uploaded to Patreon free from advertising and censorship. Most importantly, you'll be at the heart of our mission. Being part of our Patreon community means you're directly contributing to saving lives and making a tangible difference. Please join our Patreon today. We need you. Our animals need you. Thank you. Nikki is one of those souls who touched our hearts from the very first moment. Recently, we traveled miles and miles to rescue her, believing that her greatest challenge was with her eyes. But we would soon discover that the real threat was more hidden. When she arrived at our hospital, we carried out all kinds of exhaustive tests. Among them was a CT scan, which revealed a devastating reality. What was affecting Nikki wasn't just what we had imagined. After analyzing every detail, we understood that Nikki is suffering from a serious problem with her blood sugar regulation. Her blood sugar levels rise and fall uncontrollably, and the cause of it all could be a small tumor on her pancreas. This tumor, known as an insulinoma, not only disrupts her health, but silently threatens her life. The extreme fluctuations in her glucose levels are dangerous, and in addition to affecting her body, they also impact her behavior, making everything even more complicated. To save her, we need to act now. Surgery is the only solution to improve her quality of life and reignite the spark that is almost fading. Today, we will be with Nikki on this crucial journey, a journey that could give her a new chance. Up next, we'll show you the process of the surgery that could change everything.
Well, here we are with Nikki, whom we rushed to the clinic. A lot has piled up. She has an abscess on her rear, and she's really uncomfortable. Everything hurts, which is why she's trying to bite a little. Here I have our friend Nikki. And the abscess is pretty bad, bleeding, so we're going to see what the vets say now. Poor thing. She's really going through a rough time, one thing after another. And she keeps developing new issues all over. But she never loses her affection. Despite everything, she's still very loving. Although her behavior can be a bit odd sometimes due to the pain.
We're going to take some blood.
She has quite elevated leukocytosis with neutrophilia, likely due to the abscess. Also, her blood glucose is at 72. The lower limit is 74, so she's right on the edge. Everything else looks pretty good. The electrolytes and the rest are within range.
That's a relief.
Nikki is already sedated. We're going to place the IV lines and clean everything to see what's going on with the abscess, where it's coming from and all that. Why are you doing that?
To give her a pain block.
This whole line here is where the lesion extends to, but we don't know if that skin is going to necrotize and fall off or not. It might just be a hematoma that stays put. We've seen these progress to necrosis and form a hole of this size. Now we're heading into surgery to see what we find in Nikki's abdomen and figure out why she's having these hyperglycemic episodes. This white line that's moving is the pleura. So the anaesthetic is injected here, and what it does is push this white line downwards.
My goodness.
Is all that fat?
This is the falciform ligament.
And what's it for?
It covers the organs.
And do you just remove it like that?
Yes, it's no problem. It also lets us work better.
Claro, claro.
This is the pancreas. It looks good.
Very good indeed.
Now Isidore and Rebecca are examining the pancreas to see if they spot anything.
There are no signs of congestion, inflammation, or pancreatitis. Right, we're going to take a biopsy of the pancreas since there are no signs of any obvious tumours or inflamed or reactive areas. We want to see if there's any anomaly at a microscopic level.
With the sample we've taken from the pancreas, we'll go ahead and sterilise her. Did you say you saw ovarian cysts?
Yes, a small cyst.
Nikki, are you awake already? Nikki will stay here tonight so they can monitor her just in case anything happens. Although there's no reason to think anything will, but she'll be under observation. Well, we'll see you tomorrow, Nikki, and you'll come home, all right?
Hi, I'm completely exhausted. For the past 24 hours, we've been dealing with a rescue. A dog found in a horrific condition, a dog that literally has been left to rot, and a dog that on top of it, right now, he's blind. We have called him Wonder.
Oh my God! Unbelievable! No words!
Y luego empezó a crecer solo, o sea.
Sí.
He has tics.
Have you seen him?
Yes.
We've already applied internal and external pipettes.
Let's check his gums.
A bit pale.
Yes, a bit.
He's very skinny.
El otro también, ¿no?
15 kilos, 200 grams.
Okay. Venga, si vas a descansar un poquito.
Wonder has suffered every day without receiving the basic help he needs, living in constant torment. His suffering has been so long and cruel that he is literally rotting from the inside out. He has also lost his sight completely and doesn't understand that we are here to help him. All he knows is the pain and darkness that surround him. He is a dog who has lost everything, even hope. We do this for dogs like Wonder, who have only known neglect and indifference. Now is his moment, and we cannot let him down. With every donation and every word of encouragement, we can give him something he's never had, a real chance to live without pain.
The snap test for leishmaniasis is positive, as was to be expected. We've sent blood to the lab to check the levels.
We absolutely need to disinfect. He can't see.
What are Wonder's test results like?
Well, Wonder has leishmaniasis, and as a result, there's significant anemia. At the same time, there's an increase in protein and albumin levels, which is normal in leishmaniasis, but the kidney and liver parameters are all within the normal range.
In other words, it's more the anemia that's causing all this.
Yes, that anemia is a consequence of untreated leishmaniasis and poor nutrition. You only have to look at the terrible condition this poor little creature arrived in.
Imagine what he must have gone through, blind out there.
With fistulas in his legs, ulcers on his elbows.
Do you think we'll be able to recover his eyesight?
Well, we'll see, because for now we have them covered. We're going to reduce the inflammation and see if we can visualize them as they are behind the third eyelid, which is covering them.
So, what looks pink is the third eyelid?
Yes, it's covering them. It's a defense mechanism. I've already spoken to Neves to come and take a look at her.
Okay, let me know the day, all right?
Yes, and then whatever needs to be done. For now, the most important thing is to start treatment for leishmaniasis and help him recover from the anemia. I think with the food we're giving him, the change is going to be dramatic. Honestly, how lucky Wonder is to have ended up in your hands.
That's what I always think when we rescue one. No matter how bad their condition, I think about how lucky they are, don't you?
People win the lottery, and Wonder has won the lottery for sure.
You'll see he'll be fine.
Well, best of luck to Wonder, and thank you all.
So that's Wonder. It's incredible. It's incredible what neglect and cruelty can do to an animal. Wonder is now at the hospital, being treated. And I promise you, we're doing everything possible to save him. Please, if you can, donate. Help us save Wonder. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching yesterday's video. Your reaction was amazing. People saw a dog laying down on a table, completely blind, completely weak, and people reacted. Many people connected with Wonder's plea. To look at his eyes, completely blind, affected by leishmaniasis. A dog that has lost all hope. I mean, the only reason he's alive today is because we are there. It's because this organization has taken the responsibility of saving his life. And this responsibility, we don't take this lightly.
Wow, Dios mío.
This organization is much more than just myself. It's all of us. This is an amazing group that over the years has treated many animals in Wonder's conditions. Whenever you see a dog in that condition, the first thing that touches you is the fact that he gives you his trust. And that was mentioned by Isidore. He loved the way he just, dropped himself in his arms. And that's it. He just gave us his trust. This cannot be taken lightly. The worst thing an organization can do is betray an animal's trust. He's there, blind. He has nothing. He has given up his life. He's lost everything. But he's now with an amazing group of people. He's now with a beautiful veterinary team that are going to do everything they possibly can to restore him. And when I mean restore him, I really mean it. Because if the treatment works well, the transformation is going to be extraordinary.
Positive quick test for leishmaniasis was to be expected. We've sent blood to the lab to check the levels.
Right now, Wonder is blind, affected by leishmaniasis. But time and time again, we've seen dogs that respond to treatment. We've seen dogs that were completely blind and they end up seeing. They end up recovering vision. And I really hope that this is going to be one of these cases. I mean, now from the top of my head, there's so many, but I'm just thinking of one of them, Spoonie. Spoonie, a dog that was found in such a bad shape and his eyes were completely destroyed. But look at him now. After so many years, he can see perfectly. Well, maybe not perfectly, but he's doing great. And he's had a great life.
Wonder. Hola. Hola, Peque. ¿Cómo estás? Ay, ay, ay. Hola. Hola.
Well, he's struggling to come out of the dramatic situation in which he arrived. While it's true that he's eating and slowly improving his attitude, the blood tests are more or less the same. There hasn't been any change yet. We've started treatment with glucantime for leishmaniasis. And we're treating the fistulas on his legs, as well as the eye infection, which your ophthalmologist will check tomorrow. And, well, little by little, this is not something that can be resolved quickly. It's impossible. We have to be very attentive since he arrived in a very poor condition.
So, Wonder is now at the hospital. He's being treated. He depends on us. That's it. That's all he has. And us is just much more than just me. It's all of us. Please donate. Help us save him. Thank you. Hi. I'm speaking from behind my house. It's the only place where I have a bit of peace. At home, Nano is barking and Viktor is staying there for a few days, so he's barking too, and it's a mess. So I'm recording this from the car in the back of my place. Last few days have been incredible, really. Since I came out with the appeal, just a couple of days ago, we've raised nearly 40,000 euros. That's something, really. We're still a way to go, but we're getting there. But today, I wanted to talk about something else that I think is important. Today, I want to talk about me, because I realize that all these people that are donating, that are supporting our efforts, supporting our animals, paying the vet bills and paying for the great house and all of that, you wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't because over the years I have managed to build trust with you. You've seen me here every day without fail for, 4 years now, without fail, and before that for another 14 years on and off. It seems like a long time, right? And so today I wanted to tell you about two things. One, where did I come from? And what am I doing here? How come this happened? And then about the price that I've had to pay. Now, today is a tricky day. It's going to be crazy today. Look at my face. Do you see it's a bit swollen? My mouth is not operating properly. Right? Okay. Yesterday, after recording my video, I had to go to the dentist because I had a really big pain in one of my canines, right? And it turns out that I apparently at night, I didn't know that, but I'm clenching my teeth because of the stress. And this has killed one of the nerves, so I'm gonna have to have the tooth, the nerve canal, the root canal, whatever the name is of what it is that I'm gonna have to do. But anyway, yeah. So I realized that very few people know the price that animal rescues pay to do what we do. It all seems fine. Well, we're surrounded by animals. We have the amazing satisfaction and privilege of saving their lives. Some of us are lucky and we have a community to lean on to do all of this so that it doesn't kill us, basically. Because you cannot rescue, you cannot engage, you cannot commit yourself to this without paying an incredible personal price. And I wanted to talk about this today. Before I rescued animals, I had a life. Well, obviously, everybody does. But my one was kind of different. And it was a lot of fun. It was spectacular, really. I studied international business in London and Paris. I graduated from the European Business School in London. And I went on to work in banking in London.
And then I set up a company specializing on economic intelligence on emerging markets. Now, that part of my life is unknown. I mean, no one knows. I've never told anybody. It was so much fun. For 15 years, I traveled the world. I interviewed some of the heads of state of my time, people like Boris Yeltsin, Charlie Pai in Thailand, prime ministers of Greece, Turkey, Venezuela, you name it, I was everywhere. I traveled so much. And it was a lot of fun. But that life was a lot of fun, as I said. Do I repeat again? It was fun. But it was kind of empty as well. I always felt that I was missing something. My time working in finance in London, it was only about money. It was only about numbers. And I just couldn't stand it. So I was looking for something meaningful to do with my life. Economic intelligence was challenging, was great. It was incredibly enriching. I learned so much. But then traveling around the world taught me many things, massive lessons. It changed me completely. And one of the things that it did was it exposed me to something that I had never been exposed before, which was the animal issue. Where I came from, there were no stray animals. I had a dog, true, that I found on the streets, Caspi. But I was not in contact with this issue. I became in contact with this when I went to live in Turkey. And over there, well, that's where the story of Let's Adopt begins. That's where the old videos of me you see coming out. It was a kid, really, with curly hair and speaking to a camera. In those days, there were no good cameras. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, when all of this started, it all started with the only resources of my personal money. After a lifetime working and doing what I did, I had a bit of money, and I decided, it was not really a decision, but I applied it to rescuing animals. And there were lots of stray dogs where I used to live. It was a pressing matter. And so began my commitment and my involvement in animal rescue. At first, as I said, I was paying for most of it myself. Sometimes we get together with some friends that will help, but it was a solitary and lonely effort until I decided, okay, it's time to do this without killing myself and without going completely broke. And I team up with some amazing people in Turkey. And that's when I created Let's Adopt. And that's when my relationship with you began. Over this past 14 years or 16 years, I don't even know, this has been so long. You have seen me growing, you have seen me aging, you have seen me changing countries, changing my entire life a couple of times, but always the dogs have been a focus. Behind every move, there were always dogs, animals being rescued, dogs and cats. And I never really said anything about my life. My life is a mystery for the vast majority of people, except some that they have managed to permeate the shell that I built, because I am a very private person. I will never trade with my life and my privacy. It has to remain that way, because it's the only refuge of peace that I have. It is very easy to lose perspective when you run a YouTube channel, and ours is kind of, it's not so big, but still, come on, still over a million people, many millions of views every month. If I turn this into a channel about me, there will be two effects. One, it will work better, most probably, because people tend to engage and connect with people, even if they don't want. You need a conductor, you need somebody that leads something in order to follow and to be emotionally involved. Everybody here has met our animals over the years. You've seen the rescues and the failures and the successes, but overall you've seen me in every video,
being involved, getting sad, getting destroyed, getting really happy, in trips all over the place, and there's been some very emotional moments. But all of this has come at a price. One of the things that has really struck me hard has been my health. I don't sleep well. My head is always, in one place or another. I have had trouble committing to regular schedules, except for anything related to my kids. Of course, I didn't miss any of that. But exercising, come on, I used to be super fit. But now, whenever I'm in the middle of a workout, there's always going to be somebody calling me or begging me for some dog or some cat somewhere or some problems. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And then, of course, there is the issue that Let's Adopt is not a company. This is not a for-profit. If it was a company, if we were selling something, oh my God, I tell you, it would be completely different. But our charter says that we cannot sell anything. And that's not what they do anyway. We don't even do advertising for anybody. And think about it. Why don't we have sponsors? Well, because I don't want to come out here selling pillows or supplements, or just I wouldn't be able to look straight at the camera. Maybe I will make a mock-up ad one of these days to see how it works. But yeah, my health has taken a toll. A couple of years ago, I had a very serious health scare. I lost vision in one of my eyes. It went wonky. I had a micro stroke. My brain, I recovered very well, very quickly. It was a miracle. But I remember, I told you, it was scary and that I was going to take measures and things were going to change. Well, things didn't change. I've been swamped with things. I'm also been involved in a custody battle over my kids. And I'm not going to elaborate on this. But just for you to know that this has happened. And it's been tough. And I've had to deal with the worst form of betrayals from people that I loved and that I gave my life to. And I tell you, wow, the depth of it has been so tough. But as the Count of Monte Cristo said, the sum up of all human knowledge can be summarized in two words: belief and patience. So that gives me a bit of hope. Belief and patience. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you do is right and worthy, that you're right, that you're truthful and honest, and that it's a good endeavor. And patience, because it's going to come. Eventually it's going to come. Our time is going to come. And I think our time is now. And time after time after this crisis, we've always come out stronger. And in a way, this is where we are right now. It's a little moment of crisis. Well, little, not so little, $60,000. But it's more, it's 60,000 euros, it's like $70,000. But we've always come stronger. What I want from this video is for you to understand who you're talking to know that I'm not just a guy that dug himself out of some dirty hole and started rescuing dogs and cats. There's a story behind all of this, and there's been a price to pay, and there's been battles, both public and private, and there's been betrayals, and there was a court case. I was accused of being a criminal by the hunting lobby, and that got me completely sidetracked for 4 years. I couldn't travel. They kept my passport. There's been so many things, but after all these years, we're still here. You're still here. You're still committed to us, to our principles, to our daily work, and to me. And yes, and it's wonderful to know you. Really, it is. Because without you, this just wouldn't be possible. We just wouldn't be here. I'll be rescuing animals, that's for sure. But on a much smaller scale and struggling at a different level. Now the struggle is big time, but also the support is big. So what I want from this video is to get your commitment. I really cannot be
I mean, I know we at this stage is we cannot be in this position every other year or every 6 months or something. Just because we're rescuing too much, we cannot pay our bills. This has to change. I cannot. Eventually, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die of stress. I'm gonna die of worry. I'm gonna die of uncertainty. And I need to have a strength to battle all these battles without worrying about paying for those vet bills. Just because too many people asked me for help and I couldn't say no. Because that's also part of the problem. See, it's so hot. All these dogs that we rescue, they're rescued because somebody asked me for help. And I have a really terrible soft spot. When someone comes to me asking for help or cries a little bit, then that's it. And just consider it done. And it's a bad place to be. So we need to build a better base. We need to build a better base. A bigger community, a stronger community, a more committed community. And that's where you come in. Over the past few days, we've seen the number of committed donors and recurrent donors increase. Many of you have realized that this is serious and this cannot continue that way, and you've chosen to support us. And for this, I thank you. And if you're watching this video and you haven't done so yet, come on, just go on. Make a donation. Make a recurrent donation. Stay on top. Or, join our Patreon support page. Just get involved. This is beautiful. Because after me, because I will go one day, we'll just ride into the sunset. And it might be sooner than later, actually. This must continue. It really must continue. And in order to do this, we're going to need to have this bigger community. Right now, where we are, it's great, but it's not enough. We need to build a more solid base so that we can continue and can continue moving forward and saving lives. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to the vet to take Foxy to see how her leg is doing, and then I'm going to have to go to the dentist and see if I take this, I'm going to have to deal with this. It was wonderful talking to you, and I will see you tomorrow. Hi. As you can see, my face is getting back to normal. Thank God, because yesterday when I came back from the dentist, my dogs were barking at me and they couldn't recognize me. And that's so bad. He's laughing. The asshole is laughing. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the reception to my last videos, to the explanation of our problem, the big veterinary bill that we have, and the fact that so many of you are helping. I think these impromptu conversations, completely raw and natural, are helping a lot. It's helping us make our point across and for you to understand us. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I think is important. Many people ask me, how come you don't have a normal shelter? Why don't you do like Takis? You know, he has 600, 700 dogs. I'm going to explain you why. Our model is different. There's nothing wrong with what Takis does. On the contrary, I love the guy. Come on, I went to Greece to spend a day with him and bring him some medicine. I mean, this guy is really great. But his model is different to ours. And I'm going to explain you why it's different. It all comes from the way I was raised and what I learned in my life and from what I experienced in Turkey. This organization started in Turkey, a place that is notorious because it has the worst shelters you can possibly imagine. When I arrived there and I started seeing so many dogs on the streets, I tried to understand the problem, and I realized that part of the problem was the Turkish shelter system. That was not shelter. Those were concentration camps for dogs, with hundreds, sometimes thousands of dogs living in horrific conditions, devoid of all care, veterinary care. Forget it. I mean, they were like healing stations. I mean, something awful and appalling. It was in this time that I met a really nice British guy called Robert Smith. Robert Smith became my mentor, and he taught me everything I knew until that time. Now, he made me understand that shelters were part of the problem. There were concentration camps for dogs that will never have an impact in the problem in Turkey, where there were so many dogs on the streets. The solution there was neuter and return. So, when I came back to Spain, instead of opening a shelter and opening my own concentration camp for dogs, what I did was I built a home for them, a real home, temporary home. I call it a rescue center. That's why we don't use shelter. But for you to understand, it's a rescue center. The Grey House, as it is called now, is a temporary home for them. After the treatment, after rescue, they go there and they stay for as long as needed until a family is found. During this time, they have all kinds of service, rehabilitation, we have physiotherapies, there's swimming pool, and most importantly, there is human company. There are people that take care of the animals, but not like, they are not stored in like sections. And I mean, I've seen so many horrible things. No. Over there, our dogs are free. They interact with each other. They interact with all of us. I mean, it's family life, and you can see that in our videos. I think it's our videos of the Great House. They're undeniable, really. You see happy dogs. You see dogs playing. You see dogs at the swimming pool. You see, it's great. It really is a great place. Now, that turned out to be much more sustainable than me opening a concentration camp for dogs, filling it up with dogs, and never being able to find a home for any of them, because there are so many that I cannot even take a proper video. And then there's the issue of responsibility. I just couldn't stand the idea of being in bed on a Sunday morning and then thinking that maybe at the shelter 4 or 5 of our dogs were dead because there was a fight overnight. And this is something that I have seen so many times in shelters in Turkey, in shelters in Spain. It's a common occurrence. These dogs are not well cared. They are not properly housed. This is not a normal life for them. I've seen so many dogs tied to trees, tied to walls, 10 dogs in a space where it's barely suitable for 2. I've seen it all. And that's not the kind of life that I wanted our dogs to have, and that's not the kind of life that I wanted to have for myself, for the people working in my team. That's not what we do. So instead, we built a system that was much more sustainable, that was easier to run, and that made everybody happy. First of all, the dogs. Come on. I mean, that's why our dogs are so old, because they were rescued. Many of them couldn't be home because they are paralyzed, incontinent, and they have severe issues that made an adoption really unlikely or outright impossible. I mean, Dickens, come on, we tried to find homes for him. One failed, the other one didn't show up. Nancy, I mean, a dog that stands up and falls, not possible. But with us, with the environment that we can provide them, they have wonderful, fulfilling lives, full of quality of life. These guys, I mean, they have a great life. Sometimes, I mean, really, really great. But I couldn't put them in a normal shelter. And then, how do I show you that? You all know Nancy, Dickens, Dorian, Jordan. You know them by first name. You wouldn't if I had 700 dogs. You wouldn't even look at me if you saw my dogs crawling on land, suffering. How could I ask for help when I'm not even able to provide a proper living environment for the dogs that we care for? You see, this shelter, this rescue center represents Let's Adopt, represents my work, my life mission. It had to be perfect. It couldn't be any other way. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I was running a horrible place.
I'm not saying that normal shelters are horrible places. I mean, they all respond to a need, but most importantly, they respond to the capabilities and the understanding of life of the people that run them. For example, Taki's shelter. It's a lovely place. It's a great place. I love Takis. I've been there. I traveled to Greece to spend a few hours with him. I went there to deliver medicines. I made a friend. I admire the guy. He's just great. But I couldn't run Taki's shelter. The responsibility, the fear of something happened to me and then the dogs will all eat each other. I couldn't. There's so many dogs as well. I just couldn't. So instead, I mean, come on, let's talk about something else. Romania. I've seen a shelter in Romania with 5,000 dogs. 5,000 dogs living like birds on cages. Awful. What kind of life would I have if I was running a place like this? I mean, I wouldn't have conscience. It doesn't matter if I was making an effort to rehome them, send them overseas, because in Romania there are no adoptions. But I couldn't live with myself, thinking that I am perpetuating a system that is making so many animals suffer, and that maybe eventually some point down the line they will find a home. So instead, I built something sustainable. I built a place where animals come and go, where other animals come and stay for life, but that is at the same time sustainable and sustained and supported by an amazing community of animal lovers that see what we do, that believe in what we do, that know the animals by the name, that many of you have been there. That was better. That was better. So next time somebody asks me, how come your shelter? Come on, you only have 40 dogs. No. We have 40 dogs at any given time, but they come and they go, they come and they go, they come and they go. That's much better than housing 700 dogs for life with zero chances of adoption, and where the only way forward is to grow the concentration camp. No, this is not us. This is not us. So this thing has a cost. Of course it has a cost. Dogs live happily, and because they live happily and healthy, they tend not to die until they get much older. So most of our animals are now over 12. Nancy must be 11, 12, so is Dickens, so is everybody. They all have full, wonderful, happy lives, and you've been part of it. And this is where your donations go. Your donations don't only go to pay veterinary bills. No. You also pay for the care, the upkeep of all those dogs, for their lives, for the people that help them, for the people that are there expressing helping them pee and poo, because some of them are incontinent. It's a hard work. You've seen Maribel every day for so many years. Now she had a baby, she took a break, and now she's back. We have wonderful people. Ronald, Amparo, you've seen Amparo for so many years. Now we have Dario, my brother. And come on, you see our videos and you think, wow, this place is different. And this is why I'm here. Because we need to keep all this dream alive. We need to keep this system alive. Now is our vet bills, okay? Yeah, we're on the way of paying them. It's gonna be okay. I'm sure by the end of the week, it's gonna be okay. But we have to keep a sustainable system, and for this I need to strengthen the community. And this is why I need to ask to please support us. I think it's a great cause. It's a lovely cause. It's a cause that is very dear to your heart. It's a cause that you see the effects of what we do every single day. You see the animals you support. Just come on. There's nothing like that everywhere or anywhere. Or at least I don't see it. So I'm inviting you. Please donate. Donate on a recurrent basis. Don't be afraid. Come on, we're trustworthy people. If there's ever a problem, we're going to be here. It's so easy to reach us. Just join us. We need you. Please donate. Help us continue this amazing place that is the great house and this organization that is Let's Adopt. Thank you.
It's an animal world out there. Watch the World Animal Awareness Society channel and feel right at home. Come, sit, subscribe, and stay a while.